All right, let's go. Ayo, we're three hot guys sharing our opinions because we're special and different. Gold medals, we're winning. Can't help it if we're burdened by our intellect. You can play checkers while we pretend we know the rules to chess. The council has spoken, and we are the chosen. Your nose is broken because I broke it.
This sucks.
And welcome back to another episode of We Love the Council. It's your boy Joseph. I've got Jordan in the booth.
I got no bit, folks. It's just general politics again. I'm so sorry, but what the fuck do you want us to talk about? Like, seriously.
We got Danny, who is marching into D.C.
Oh, sorry. Hold on 1 second. Just hold on. Beep, boop, 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 beep, beep. Hi, yes, Waymo. Please send more. Thank you.
What?
And we've got Becky, who is the first Waymo driver. Oh, no! All right, folks. So we're just talking about the state of things. We expected that we were going to talk about the Trump and Elon breakup, and then we thought we were going to talk about like the ongoing protests in California, and then we thought we were going to talk about JD Vance making memes about deporting people, and then we just figured we were going to talk. So I don't know who wants to start.
We're just gonna start on it. All right, I'll launch it into the. Well, okay, we got to talk about the Trump and Elon thing, right? I mean, that's just too much to not talk about. It was like the funniest thing ever.
Probably one of the funniest days online, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think actually, Danny, you and I talked about it while you were streaming at one point. We left Joseph out of this conversation because it's Pride Month. He's getting whatever he wants anyway. So
True.
that's so bad.
Wow, that's crazy.
Anyway,
Yeah, no, put that in.
Yeah, that one's gonna stay in. I'll own that one. All right, look. Anyway, we were talking about this, and it's like everybody knew that this was gonna happen. So it kind of like soured the experience a little bit because it was the most predictable thing to happen. To catch everybody up, I'm sure you're all aware of this, but you know, Elon left the White House because Trump realized he's a loser that everybody hates.
Whoa.
Okay,
It's because he was a special government employee, which is a position that has a very specific tenure because you can't permanently work in the White House unless you're appointed by a president, and that has to get through like a confirmation process that they weren't sure he was going to get. And there's a lot of roadblocks to doing things the official way, so they did things as lazily as possible, and his tenure expired. So he did have to leave, like statutorily. There was a reason he had to get out of there.
First, buddy had to
that
go.
Trump thought he was like a total beta, even though that was the actual reason.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. All right, I'm glad we finally wrapped back around to that, which is the actual truth. That Trump hated this guy when it came to light that he sucks and actually doesn't do anything right, as evidenced by losing the race for like favorite dog or whatever it was. I can't remember. It was like,
yeah, there was like a high profile $70 billion spent on electing the next dog catcher of a Wisconsin city with like 30 total people in it. No, it's been kind of funny because in the fallout of this, we've seen two totally different styles of argumentation. Like, Elon is a totally, like, 95 pounds sopping wet through most of his childhood ass guy. He's just a nerd. He's very bullyable.
Yeah.
And as a result,
true.
He's been, like, sniveling around. He's like, actually, did you know that Trump is on the Epstein list? And then people are like, wait, and you worked with him anyway? And he's like, why are we talking about me? And he's like, he spends all day doing subtweets, right? But Trump, he's like a different class of guy. He's like a boomer. I've said this a lot. He acts like a 70s like New York queen, like a big fat gay guy who's always in everyone's business. And so he's been posting like, Elon's ugly. He needs to take a shower. He's fucking disgusting. He smells. And he's always trying to talk to me about StarCraft 2. Why doesn't he? I don't think he's ever touched a vagina in his life. And Elon's like, me thinks that's going a little far, sir.
Yeah. Excuse me. That's an ad hominem. Dork. Anyway, so, he's a huge dorcas. And this went on for a while. He, as Joseph mentioned, he talked about Trump is on the Epstein list. And it's like, okay, you worked so hard to get him elected and you know this? Like, why? Which was just awesome.
Also, we all already know this, right?
Everybody already knew it.
He's just in the black book. Like, oh, big surprise. The biggest pedophile in the world
hangs
out with the other biggest pedophile in the world. Holy shit. That's crazy.
So this did end in the funniest way possible. Was it the funniest way possible? Actually, probably not, but it's still a very funny way, which was Elon posting, and I don't have the tweet in front of me, so I'm paraphrasing.
Can I read it?
Please, Danny, please.
I regret some of my posts about President @real Donald Trump last week. They went too far.
Beta. Like, and he can't even
I
win
posted
this.
too hard.
He can't even
I posted
win this.
too hard.
Like,
Trump does nothing, wins anyway.
like, honest to God.
It really is the Chinese century.
He's crazy with it.
He just can't follow through. He can't get it done. He couldn't do it in
you know
Wisconsin.
what happened was like, he did this and he was like, it's a time for me to epically own him. And then posted these and spent the next 3 days like twiddling in his thumbs and scratching at his arms and being like, oh, did I go too far? Did I do too much? What's he going to think? What's everyone going to think when they read it? Oh my God. And Trump, he like, at 2 a.m., like off a McDonald's bender,
drinking
like half
like a
conscious.
Diet Coke.
His brain is like a sponge at this point. He's like 30% lucid maximum. And he's like, give me the phone. I'm going to tell him to kill himself. All right, good night.
He's not even on his mind. Trump's like, let me talk to Gavin Newsom. I hate that guy. We're beefing.
Is Trump gonna take this too hard? And Trump's like, how come Huggies these days aren't as fancy as they used to be? Didn't they used to have lace on them?
Where's my nurse?
What the
my
fuck?
catheter's itchy. Where's
Wow.
my nurse?
Everything's computer.
Everything's computer.
Dude, everything is computer.
Everything is computer.
You're saying that the funniest way it could have ended was this. There's actually one funnier way that's
True.
still
Yeah.
in play.
Oh.
Let's just say, Trump, I hope you lower the tax a little more.
Yeah.
This brings us to the second thing that happened this week, which was the fucking Californian crisis. Does anyone want to kick this one off?
All right, I did the last one. Somebody take this one.
I'm honestly not as informed other than, and I'll let Joseph extrapolate.
Hey, single Latinx member of the
Yeah.
of the will of the council, get in front of the line of fire on this
Oh,
one.
thanks. As me and every other one. Like, come on, dude.
No, so here's what's going on. So I started raids in California that are dubiously legal.
Right.
I won't pretend to know too much about immigration law. I took a class on it, but the short of it is, in that class, every week, like a new ICE tactic would release, and our professor would come in looking like she had slept maybe 30 minutes total. And we're like, what's going on? And she's like, you know what's going on. They're just always in court about these deportations because they're being done, in case you have missed it, by like showing up in plain clothes to illegal immigrants' check-in appointments as part of the legalization process. Like, in order to become a legal citizen of the United States, you need to meet with a lawyer to talk about the next steps in the process. And sometimes ICE will just show up to those be like, hey, while you're here, we're taking you.
Yep.
And that's not allowed. The whole thing has kind of culminated in this position where this organization thinks they can totally act with impunity. And the end result is they started making a bunch of arrests in California that were like so outside the purview of what could be considered normal. And so as a result, a bunch of resistance groups, and I mean resistance in like the actual way, not the like Jeff Tiedrich way, although he will factor in later, started like stopping them, like showing up and like throwing rocks at their cars and like standing in front of like ATVs transporting people. And it escalated pretty quick. These officers were buttressed by troops within California, and then later at Trump's request by the National Guard. There's all these videos of these people just like firing blindly into crowds with less than lethal rounds. There's that one video of that skater that takes like 40,000 rubber bullets to the face and just walks off.
It's very bad, and I do want to just
and it's ongoing at the time of recording. It is not concluded. It's still happening.
It's still happening. To also add to the I guess situational context around what is happening in LA, I have these moments that I've talked about before in this podcast, and I'll refer to it again, is what I call the doom spiral moments, where I will just be going about my day, you know, like doing my job or, I don't know, at the gym or whatever, and I will pick up my phone, first mistake, and just open an app, like a social media app, and I'll just scroll for a quick 30 seconds as I'm like, ooh, I'll take a little brain break, I call it, foolishly, and I see a news story or a post that just like sends me into the kind of like moment. And this one I saw, which was parents of children at an elementary school had to escape because ICE was raiding it, and ICE was raiding this elementary school during the elementary school graduation. And I just, like...
That's awesome.
Wow.
Happy graduation, kids. That's the last time you're seeing your parents.
How do I go on, you know? How do I exist in a world where people are looking at this? They're looking at the parents of children, of screaming and crying children being chased by, like, fucking brown shirts, and they're like, cool, that's great. I love that, actually, because these people are brown. And it's like, yeah, man, I don't know what to do. So anyway, it's just like the tensions are escalating because of, like, these arrests are just awful. They're just so unbelievable. Like, LA in California, one of the top 5 biggest economies of the world, not even in the nation, of the world, is like full of Hispanic people, and it's like, yeah, they're going to be up in arms over this to protect their communities. This is why these protests are so, you know, escalated.
It's hard. It's really hard to, like, I don't know, like you said, continue being like, okay, cool, well, I guess I'll go to work, you know, like,
Yeah, like
it's so frustrating to engage with these kinds of stories, seeing people you emotionally empathize with and want to help, and feel terrible about that they live in California, and the president calls the National Guard and gets them and the Marines to go to a state and be like, yeah, no, you're out, like, we're gonna, like, raid whatever and just cause absolute mayhem. And you're like, I don't know what to say. Keep on fighting. Good luck. I'm here.
Cool.
I'll support you. But holy shit, what the hell is going on?
the worst part is the just needing to, like, all right, well, kids are never going to see their parents again. Cool. Guess I got to send this email. That is probably the part that I can't get over when it comes to, like, existing in modern society, is having a news gun in your hands all the time that shotgun blasts the worst things happening in the world to you at any hour of the day if you just happen to look in the wrong spot at the wrong time, and you just have to go back to your job.
Today we've discovered that people are being shuttled into a factory that melts down humans into a kind of paste for use in Chick-fil-A burgers.
Yeah.
This is being done with the express consent of the federal government. You see that, you look over your other screen. As per my last email, I apologize for stinking up the restroom on Sunday. I thought I could come in on my day off and take a big doo-doo shit, and apparently I was wrong.
I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Don't forget to take your company engagement survey. Like, yeah.
How happy are you here? I guess I'll rate that a 3.
Breaking from California, we've started loading the wokes into large cannons and shooting them into the ocean, Evel Knievel style.
Okay, maybe it's at a 2 now.
With respect to a company wellness policy, I would like to...
You know what it reminds me of? Have you guys both watched Incredibles at the beginning where
Yes,
he's like,
dude.
I'd like to help you, but I can't. I'd like to tell you to go on the 3rd floor. It's
Fill out form 1058C, yeah.
Bob! Can we talk about Jeff Tiedrich, please?
Yeah, please.
Oh, yeah.
Get me out of this one, please.
So,
Thank you.
If any of you have never heard of Jeff Tiedrich, I'm so sorry for
He's
your
my
loss.
fucking guy.
He's my goat.
Friend of the pod, Jeff, come on the pod. Holy
Jeff,
fuck.
come on the pod. So,
I don't know what I would do. I don't know if I can handle it. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be honest.
if any of you were online during, I think it was like 2016 Trump era, right? Where, it was either, voting for Hillary or Trump. And online, there was a guy by the name of Jeff Tiedrich who would reply to every single Trump post and be like, you are a lying piece of poopy head. And you are a big
I think he coined
Cheeto.
the term, sir, this is a Wendy's.
Yes, he would constantly go under these posts and be like, sir, this is a Wendy's. And he'd get like 1 million likes. And that's the activism for the day.
Yeah.
Not to say I'm doing too much either, but, you know, it is really funny to talk about. And
Resistance completed.
recently he posted probably one of my favorite posts about, you know, the stuff that's happening currently. And I'll read it off.
Let's set the stage. This is being posted during a time when we're finding that the American Gestapo are operating with complete impunity and shipping people off to foreign countries with no due process while they meet with armed resistance in the street, both sides just like hailing like weaponry at each other. Okay. Here is the hashtag resistance of all hashtag resistancers. Unbelievable response to the situation.
Let's be clear. President Fuckwit needed a distraction. Note, President Fuckwit is Trump. His tariff scheme went tits up. Everyone's laughing at Taco Donnie. Putin's ignoring him. No one's impressed with his vulgar flying bordello. His big beautiful bill is a big beautiful clusterfuck. Doge is a bust. His bromance with the space Nazi has gone fuckity bye. Jeff Tiedrich, what the fuck is this? Is the title of the article.
He's the best to ever do it. I don't know what to tell you. He's like legitimately the best to ever do it. He is meeting the moment. I will say he is meeting the moment. I've already added fuckity bye to my lexicon. I've started saying it. I'll flush the toilet and be like, looks like that load went fuckity bye.
Dude, I'm never not going to call him President Fuckwit now.
Okay, am I allowed to be the friend that's too woke on this? Like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
sure.
When you label this is, okay, I'm going to go even further. This is classic lib shit. Like, so classic lib shit to be like, all of this that's happening, this fighting in the streets, it's just a distraction. Like, there are people being deported and sent to El Salvadorian prisons because they're brown. Like, this is one of the worst humanitarian atrocities of our modern era, and it is not a distraction. I hate liberals, man. I hate them. I hate them so much, dude. Oh my God. Like,
it's frustrating because like he does, like, I'm checking out the article and, you know, half of it is, I feel, not to defend my goat, Jeff Tiedrich. I don't think he needs defending.
I know. I'm being too harsh. I know I'm being too
harsh. No, you're
harsh.
allowed to, because half of it, I truly think he means well. And I'm glad that he does speak out on these things. It is good. It is just funny. Halfway through, you'll get like, and now the Mad King is doing it all over again, spilling his goopy doopy all over LA. And you're like, dude, please, I get it, man. Can you just not say doopy goopy? That's so good.
It just kills me, dude. It's I alluded to it a second ago, but the catheter thing was another thing that was on Twitter. People are doing some sort of investigative garbage, looking at pictures of him, identifying that Trump is wearing a catheter. And it's supposed to be like some epic own online, like, haha, Trump pee-pee no work. It's like, I hate you.
He's 1,000 years old, man. The problem is that he's still in control of everything, right? Like,
yeah, I just, oh my God,
dude, he's dying. Like, yeah, for sure, that's like funny, but you know, maybe save it for after we resolve the outstanding crises.
Not to scold you for, you know, being like, now's not the right time, but I just, oh my God, this level of investment for something real would be really nice, you know? Just fuck me. Anyway, you can be a leftist, but you need to be the exact type of leftist that I am. The problem is that these people aren't leftists either. Never mind. This is another, just forget about it. Let's go to Reddit.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm
ready for
also
the posts?
ready. Let's do the shit.
Yeah.
Our first one comes from r/am I the asshole, and it's from someone called Throwaway Fiddler 1.
Okay, cool.
All right. The title of this one is, Am I the asshole for telling my mother-in-law she shouldn't have given my 3-year-old son an expensive violin?
Okay, I understand now why you emphasize this user's name.
Are you kidding me?
I'm in.
Yeah, let's start right now. Yes. Fuck you.
Yep.
Yup.
My husband is one of 6 children, and all of them were enrolled in music classes by my mother-in-law from a very young age. All played string instruments, either violin or cello. Let's go. 4 of them are now professional musicians, my husband and one of his sisters being the exception, though they still play as a hobby. First off, that's an unbelievable success rate.
That's
no,
crazy.
4 out of 6 became professional musicians? Holy shit.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
Even before having a child, I told my husband I wasn't against our kid taking music classes as long as it was at a time we thought was right, with none of the pressure he had to deal with, and also considering what other activities that could be more relevant and that we could afford. He agreed. Now, our son just turned 3, and my mother-in-law, after dropping some hints that I previously ignored for the sake of keeping peace, like soon he'll reach the age to start learning music, and I talked about him to that teacher that taught my kids when they were little, gave him a crazy expensive violin as a birthday gift. Not only that, she said to my son something like, soon you'll be playing like your father and your uncles, etc. I didn't say anything in front of anyone. This happened during the birthday party with friends and family, but at some point I found her alone and was like, you should have talked to us before buying a violin that expensive. And she acted like I had offended her personally. I said I didn't want to create an expectation of getting music classes, and I wasn't even sure that we could afford it right now. She said she's more than willing to pay for those classes like she does for some of her other grandchildren. I didn't want to push this further, but I feel her dream of having this large family of musicians is now being passed down to the new generation. My husband talked to me later, told me his mother talked to him about what I said to her and how she was taken aback by my reaction. But to me, it's not about the violin as a gift, but her meddling in how we raise our child. Am I the asshole here?
All right. Gonna do one of my usuals. This one seems pretty simple to me. Anybody else feeling that way, or am I the only one that's kind of already made up my mind?
I'm about
I
half
don't
and
know.
half. I do appreciate your
I'm
willingness
about
to...
gray on this.
I appreciate your willingness to see kind of a fraught situation and just bash your head into it immediately. Where are you landing? What's going on?
Where are you
I'm
landing?
bashing my head into this right away. I'm bashing my head into this fucking violin. No, fuck her. I'm sorry. It's very clear that she kind of has an agenda here, right? She is definitely oh, we're from a line of musicians, and I think, this lineage of music should continue. Therefore, I'll buy an expensive violin. Don't worry, I'll even pay for the classes. It's yes, I understand that this is a nice gesture, but there's clearly some kind of agenda behind this. I don't love that it's I'm being predeterministic about what my grandchild will be doing with their life because that's what happened in my family. It feels very schemy. It does seem like she's meddling. I actually do really when the poster mentioned it seems like she's meddling in what the path of the child's life is going to be. I'm yeah, I see that 100%. I definitely, I don't know. I'm really with the poster here. This, she is trying to influence what the child is going to do with their life. And this expensive violin is a way to kind of push them / guilt them, I feel, into feeling pressured to put the kid in these classes. And she didn't talk to them about this either. She didn't talk to them about this gift. The kid is 3. You got this kid a violin. He's 3.
Young.
I'll do the opposite side.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so I think you're inferring a lot here. And I don't think that that's wrong necessarily. I think the mom and the mother-in-law do kind of have this weird subtle, if you spell subtle like this, this kind of subtle power struggle going on. But I think that making your kid play an instrument is good.
Sure.
I think that it's what is she pushing for? Not that she totally controls this kid or anything. She's pushing for the kid to learn violin. I don't know. I can't be too upset about that. I feel this he should be taking lessons. I talked to the teacher. That's a bit much, but you can pump the brakes on that for sure. You can be oh, let's see if he takes to it first, if it's something he'd like. I think what's going on here is the husband has probably privately expressed to the wife that he felt a lot of pressure as a child to live up to this family full of musicians standard. And especially for kids, practicing an instrument for 20 minutes a day feels like getting kicked in the nuts every day of your life. It's
true.
It's not a lot of a time commitment, but at that point in your life, it feels like you might as well be sentenced to prison.
Yep. Yeah. When I had to look at sheet music and practice scales on my French horn, I actually thought I was like, being sentenced, like actually a life sentence.
And my impression is if the kid feels that way, they can call it off. In fact, the mom gives the husband, she says, listen, I'm not opposed to our kid learning stuff. Let's just make sure we don't put a lot of pressure on him, right?
Yeah.
And I hate to be like this. I know you're like, the kid is 3. 3 is not that far off of when kids can start learning music. Like,
no, I understand.
A violin? Really?
They start you in it in school at like 8, but like people who want their kids to grow up playing violin or cello really well will start them at 5 super frequently. Like it's really not that outside of the realm of possibility.
If you want to, create the trajectory of this kid being like an artist and only playing music as their profession, 3 is a perfect age to do it. And that's why she's doing it. I agree.
If you bought the kid some finger paints, would it be ridiculous? Would it like, she's encouraging the kid to pursue something that does have a ton of benefits and is like an artistic pursuit with no pressure to do it forever. Like, the mom has been very clear with the husband that they can leave. So this is where the inference thing comes in. If you think this gift comes attached with the mother-in-law being like, now you owe me and the child must take lessons all the time, that's a problem. But I think there is a way whereby both of you can kind of get what you want, which is the kid tries out violin and sees if it's for him. And I don't know. I can't be that mad about it, I don't think.
I agree. If that was what was happening, I think that with the amount that she has been dropping hints about, the child getting into music, the expensiveness of the violin for a child that's 3, and for her being like, soon you'll play like your dad and uncle one day,
That's just okay. Let me ask this question. What has the wife done to give the mother-in-law the impression that the child will not be learning music? Is it so ridiculous for the mother-in-law to think her grandchild, in a family full of children and grandchildren who all play musical instruments, will probably play a musical instrument?
See, that's the thing. The poster's problem is communicating the expectation that music will be done in this family. Like, that is the problem that she has with it. And honestly, that's the problem I have with it too, is that there is this underlying sort of assumption that the kid will go into music. And I think, like, sure, a child playing a musical instrument is great. I think kids should learn music, for sure. But I find it hard to believe that the mother-in-law doesn't have some greater agenda going on, which is, no, we're going to start this kid super young at the age of 3, getting them an expensive violin, pushing to get into music classes, saying that she's going to pay for the music classes to continue a lineage of professional music, which I think is a problem. I just think there's a deeper agenda with the mother-in-law. That is what's skeeving me out.
I'm trying to get a feel for this mother-in-law because I don't want to fall for
evil mother-in-law posters curse.
Sure. Yes. Of course.
Like I'm trying to like, because like it could just be like, oh, I just like don't want to do what my mother-in-law like is recommending, which is like fine. I understand being like, I just like don't like when she does this kind of thing, which would maybe be more honest. Because I do agree with Joseph's point of like, it feels a little conflicting to be like, I'm not against our kid taking music classes, but I don't.
And then the mother-in-law is like,
but I don't want
let's
it
take
this
music
way.
classes.
Right. Like, I don't want it this way. I don't want it like, I don't want you to do that. I want like me to decide that, which like, I guess I do understand as a parent to be like, let me do this. I appreciate the gift. I don't want to set those expectations just yet. Like, give me a bit, which I think is fair. But
yeah, no, I think like what we're missing here is a paragraph where it's like, our mother-in-law has been a constant presence in our relationship. She's always meddling with how we raise our kids. And that's just not there. So from the mother-in-law's perspective, this is like her musician's son marries a woman. The only thing she's heard about the grandkid having music lessons is we're open to it. She gets him a violin, and the wife basically reveals that she's been having a battle of wills in the background without the mother-in-law knowing, and that this is a decisive piece of that puzzle. Like, I
don't think
totally
that's true.
understand. Well, that's the thing, is you're inferring that there is a constant butting of heads between the mother-in-law and the wife on how to like run the kid's life. But if the mother-in-law just assumed that the kid was going to take lessons and be a musician and then does what she can to facilitate that, she is going to be kind of shocked that the wife is super offended by that.
No. I'm not inferring that there is some deeper ongoing, like, oh, this mother-in-law is evil. I'm not saying that at all. I did point out the piece where she's dropped some hints. What I'm trying to get at is the poster has a problem with the mother-in-law leaning into this predeterministic lineage thing about music.
Predeterministic. The kid is learning to play violin.
Yes,
You're not
but look, it's a lot of like, oh, my assumption, the expectation is that this kid is going to grow up and do music, and the mother is.
I think that's a fine expectation to have until someone corrects you. And to my understanding, the wife has never voiced this to the mother, that she might be uncomfortable with the child pursuing an instrument. The closest thing she said is, we would be into him taking music classes, as long as it didn't come with a lot of pressure.
I guess when she says that, she has ignored the hints that the
also,
mother-in-law
how are
has
these
done.
hints? If the mom is assuming the kid is going to learn a musical instrument, she's going to say shit like, oh boy, I can't wait until you learn your musical instrument. And the wife is like, I'll ignore that hint to keep the peace. But it's probably just some shit she said. Like, why does everything have to be a chess battle in the landscape of the mind? Why can't it just be like she's excited for her kid to learn music and the wife is fighting her own internal battle that the mother-in-law is not privy to and is therefore surprised when she encounters?
I will say that, like, I think that it would be more of an adult kind of decision if your mother-in-law is dropping hints of like, well, she's going to start, he's going to reach an age, start learning music. And I talked to my teacher about teaching them. And that's the point where you say, hey, I appreciate all that, but don't go so fast. I want to ease him into music. We don't even know if he's going to like music.
She said,
yet.
I talked to the private teacher for the 3-year-old, and you went, and moved on with the conversation. And you're shocked that she thought that was an assent. You're shocked that she was like, oh, great, I guess she's okay with it.
No, you're misreading this. The dropping hints is not the poster. The mother-in-law is the one dropping hints.
She said, I dropped this hint. I talked to him about the teacher that taught my kid when they were little. That's the mother-in-law, right? The wife says she ignored that hint to keep the peace. If you say, I talked to him about the teacher that taught my kids when they were little, and then you say nothing in response, I think the mother-in-law is well within her rights to be like, hey, plan for the kid to learn music is still on.
Okay.
That's all.
I will agree with that.
Right.
I will agree with
that's where I find the weird part of like, why aren't you telling them? Stand up and be like, hey, this is, my kid and I want to do this my way. I do like your help. Maybe the kid will like music. Who knows? I want to ease him into this. Just want no pressure on him. So I want to push back on these.
I can agree with that was a moment where she should have stood up for herself. But taking that one moment as like a line in the sand, I think is kind of weird to just be like, well, she didn't respond to that. Therefore, any protest she has in the future about pushing the envelope of making music happen as a part of this kid's life is, off the table now because she didn't respond to this. And I just want to come back to the foundation here. The question at hand in the title is, am I the asshole for telling my mother-in-law she shouldn't have given my 3-year-old son an expensive violin? And when we read this in the post, the situation that happens is, I didn't say anything in front of anybody. This happened during the birthday party with friends and family. But at some point, I found her alone, and I was like, hey, you should have talked to us before buying that violin. That sentence right there, is that really that rough to say? Because now she's taking the moment to say, like, okay, I wish you would have discussed with us doing this before you just did it, because now it's like a commitment that we have to fulfill on. And I think she's well within her right to say that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a pretty good point.
You see, that's what I'm trying to get at.
It's weird because, like, I do agree at the core of, like, I don't think you're an asshole to be like, could you have asked us before you bought this expensive violin? But like,
Yes.
I don't know. Like, is it a big deal? Right? Like,
Okay, look. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm with you on a lot of what you both have said. Truly, I 100% agree that yeah, it's a great idea for a kid to be learning music. I am a little skeeved out by starting this at the age of 3, but whatever. Maybe I'm just underestimating what a kid can do at what age for music. Sure, whatever. But it's awesome that she did this. I think maybe even I'm a little too tinfoil hat about the agenda of continuing a lineage of music, even though I do still believe it, but whatever. The thing at hand is, are you allowed to protest a little bit when this super expensive gift is given to your child with some sort of expectation of what happens next, right? Because it's very clear that the mother-in-law has an idea of what's happening next, and now that she's gotten this gift, and now the poster is kind of like, I kind of wish you would have, opened this up for discussion first before you just bought this thing, So that right there is where I land with the poster.
I guess I'm ready to vote on this.
Sure.
okay.
Decision time.
Jordan, when it comes to this woman, is she the asshole for saying, fuck you, you stinky ass bitch?
You know what? I think I explained myself pretty well before we cottoned off to the voting. She's not the asshole. 100%. She's well within her right to protest that an expensive violin was handed with this expectation of doing music classes.
Danny?
No, I almost got away with it. Fuck. I don't know. Honestly, I'm super unclear on this post. I think that it's marginal for me, but I don't think I can call her an asshole for at the very least just being like, hey, you should have talked to us before buying that violin. There's a lot of different points we can make and things like that, but at the core of the post, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's okay to be like, could you have talked to us? I think a normal reaction from the mother-in-law should be, I'm sorry, what's the problem? And you should have a normal discussion rather than being like, what? Which is also kind of sucks. So I don't know. It's
so offended.
So I'll land on that and I'll say it with a caveat of I do think it's not a big deal, and I do think you could just be like, thanks. And then do your decisions after. Close the door, put the violin in the closet, be like, cool, now I have a $500 violin. Joseph.
So I do want to say, I think that we're inferring a lot. I think we're falling for evil mother-in-law who's constantly trying to...
I'm off that train.
Yeah, who's constantly trying to ruin their child's life. And importantly, I think the poster is falling for it too. I think she thinks there's this battle of the minds, even if there isn't. I think that she's done a really piss poor job of speaking with the mother-in-law and establishing this boundary. I think she's done a really bad job of articulating that it's kind of a point of pressure for her and her husband. And I think the husband probably has some kind of trauma about it that we're not getting in the story. The reason they don't want to do it is the husband was I hated practicing all the time or whatever.
It's a man's fault.
But of course we don't get to hear this. All that said, she's just saying, I wish you could have asked us before you got the violin. I think
I can't get around that. I can't say you're mean
I think
for that.
That's
as
a
fine.
single sentence is
it's a normal
not
sentence.
Asshole behavior. I think it's the easiest way to breach this conversation too, after it's already happened. Obviously, the easiest way to do this is to speak with your mother-in-law well before she buys your kid a violin. But the second easiest, after the violin has been purchased, is to be like, oh man, we don't even know if the kid is going to take to violin. You really should have asked us before giving us this present.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this is, some people in the comments are kind of speculating that this is a hand-me-down. I hope that that's the case. It makes sense.
That makes sense.
Kids grow fast. It's not a thing where you can stash it in the closet because it's not going to fit the kid.
That's true.
In 2 years. That's why all these, when you get not to, cheat here, but when you get an instrument as a young child, you rent it because you won't need it in a couple of years. And that's the part of the story that's kind of freaking me out is either she bought a really expensive one and did an insane purchase, or she's giving them a hand-me-down. And either way, that's something you want to communicate about beforehand. You shouldn't just foist it on them.
Yep.
So I'm going to say she's not an asshole as well.
Wow.
Boom.
That was-
Let's
that was-
fucking go.
Dude, razor thin on that one.
Yeah. Now I'm back. Now I get to voice my actual opinion where that's going to be 2 weeks. And she's going to be, how are lessons going?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Update, and it's
know
like,
it. I can
Jordan was
feel it.
wrong. And it's like, no.
No. Did he learn hot cross buns yet?
I will say I'm now reading the comments and it's very interesting. They're like, well, is the kid excited? Like, does the kid want to play violin? She says he likes it because there's this whole aspect of family legacy. His dad plays it, his aunts and uncles do. Many cousins are as well. But he's too young to show real interest. I don't think it's my place. And it's like,
oh my
okay,
God,
well-
you're so dumb.
no, that's wait,
Yeah.
no, that's not. That's the opposite. Is she's like, well, I think he just likes it because of family legacy. I mean, he's too young to show a real interest. And it's like, what if he likes it? I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
how-
that's what I'm saying. I agree with
Yeah,
you. Like,
I don't
come
know.
on, like he's a kid. If he likes it, just let him try it. Fuck.
That is true. That is
I
absolutely
think
true.
the woman is bringing a lot of baggage to the table that she's not being
I
realistic about. I think the mother-in-law is bringing a lot of baggage to the table. I think the
That's
husband needs to be real with
true.
his baggage. And I think we need
Yep.
to stop posting on Reddit.
Stop.
True.
Get off Reddit.
The Council has spoken.
This next one comes from Best of Redditor Updates. This one is fucking unbelievable. 2 days old.
What the
But the original
fuck,
one is...
dude?
The original one
What?
is a couple months old.
What is
I'm going to read you the
this?
title of this one. Ready? Okay, here we go. My 15-year-old idiot kid got his girlfriend pregnant on purpose.
Dude. What am I supposed to say? Huh?
Rebecca,
What do you want me to
cut
say
this
about this?
entire segment. Go to the
Dude,
next
Rebecca,
post.
Just cut this and kill Joseph.
All right, ready? Here we go.
I'm not, but sure.
Throwaway for obvious reasons. I,
Oh.
30F,
Oh,
have
really?
a child who is 15M.
Okay.
Well, maybe he's just following in his mother's footsteps, right?
I was just
don't-
gonna say, wait a minute, doing some math here.
All right, here we go.
Like, no
We'll
shame.
call him
I
Ollie.
don't want to shame
You guys
people
are
for
so
this.
annoying.
We've got 4 other children, 2, 6, 9, and 11. As you can tell by my own age, I was a teen parent. I was lucky. We married at 18. We're still married. Healthy relationship. Worked our way out of a very dire situation. We graduated. We started a trade, and we're currently very comfortable and stable in all ways. This information is relevant. Ollie
well,
has
thank
been
you.
friends with this girl, we'll call her Bree, since he was 7. Their family used to live in the same city and went to the same school, same group. We know her parents. We're long-distance friends ourselves. We're not close, but we'll say hello when the kids are on video chat. We've had drinks together before. Bree's family moved to a very small town 3 states away due to rental affordability. No secret. And we've all talked about the rising costs of everyday life, the cost of living in the city. Many locals have been forced out. They moved because of that and for better job opportunities about 18 months ago. Since then, Ollie has been begging for us to follow, giving us a sales pitch on cheaper housing, better paying jobs, neither of which fit our professions, the whole works. We said no because, well, no, but even if we wanted to, our other children are in school. They have sports and friends here. Selling and buying another house, finding work out of our skill set, or having to learn new skills, any normal adult would understand this. He does not. Well, fast forward to Christmas. Bree's family come back to our city for a holiday. The kids met up multiple times with each other. It was my understanding they were always with other kids, but obviously not. Bree is pregnant. I am certain it was on purpose. He has access to condoms. I don't care for opinions on this. My access was restricted and I had him. He has had sex ed from me, from my husband, and from school. He knows damn well how babies are made and how to not have one. Ollie now wants me to move to be with her and the baby. It's confirmed. I've talked to the parents and I said no. I don't feel like I need a reason, but he asked. You're 15. We don't have proof it's your child. I'm not moving us away from our lives. You aren't going on your own until you're 18. We'll do a test, then we'll look at parenting plans, and we'll top it off with a too bad, so sad, you made your bed, now you have to sleep in it. He took that back to Bree, and now all communication between her parents and me have been cut. I'm a terrible person. My comments about the DNA test are disgusting. It's fueling my son's hate. He says I'm keeping him from the love of his life and his future baby using my own successful relationship as proof it will work out. I actually don't even know if I'm right or not. I'm just really upset, and I feel like my whole life I worked really hard for has been destroyed.
On a Wednesday, bro? You bring this to me on a Wednesday at 6 p.m.? This is insane.
Like, okay. Here's the deal. You did this too. Like, I'm sorry. Okay, am I crazy? I'm so sorry. Like, is this insane for me to say that? Like, yeah, your kid made a decision that you, in hindsight, now think is stupid, but, I mean, you did it too, right? Like, can't you, at least in this moment, no matter how frustrated it makes you, no matter how angry it makes you, can't you can't you think back to what it was like to being 15 with a kid and think of how nice it would be to have somebody that was there for you in that moment? Like, I know you think it's stupid and I know you're mad at your kid about it, but you are their parent still, you know? I don't know. Like, there's a very weird amount of resentment for this, I guess.
I think what the mom is inferring is that this kid and Bree love each other very much. And in order to remain together, they had the baby on purpose so that they would have a reason to move there.
Sure. I'm sorry. I kind of skipped over that part. I should go back and clarify. The whole moving thing, I'm not even talking about. I shouldn't have glazed over that because it made me sound like I was in support of them moving. And I don't even really know how I feel about that personally. But I mean, I know it's fine to be angry at your kids for doing something stupid, but wouldn't you want to like talk to the parents of Bree? You know, like, why would you let it get to the point where you're not able to communicate with the parents of the other kid? I don't know. This is a weird thing to say, like, well, I would do this better because holy shit. But it just seems weird to be this, I don't know.
All right. I mean, I hate to be like this. I think the mom's previous experience with teenage pregnancy is definitely what colors her reaction here, but I think her reaction is totally justified. She thinks that the kid has done this specifically to fuck over their chances of staying in the same house. Like, he's like, oh, here's a fun little way that I can get us to move. And she knows from experience how tough it was to raise a child at that age, and likely has warned the kid his whole life as of how difficult that was. So,
yeah, that's fair. That's a good point. That's a good point.
I think the reason that she's upset isn't like a hypocrisy thing. I think it's the opposite. I think she knows that it's going to be a fucking miserable life for him for a long time. And he signed up to do it because he wanted to win an argument about moving. Like, that's like, I think she's right to be like, he's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I think
it's fair.
There is something of like, there's no way, like, because I agree that you can support your kid and be like, well, like, this was a mistake by you. We would like to help you. But the only way we can do that is by being here where we have a job and a home and you know, like, I don't know what to say, but like, you're kind of a dumb kid who doesn't understand how like real life works, you know, how like we have a salary here that, you know, allows us to live our life. And you don't understand how, you know, difficult it is to uproot not only our lives, but your family's lives too. Your brothers and sisters who have a life here. And like, I understand that's hard for a 15-year-old to get. It's hard to put the perspective of like, unless you have like a really strong bond with your brothers and sisters and like, know, like, well, like I know their lives very well and I don't want them to like be upset or mad. And that does influence like kids' decisions on things when they like, you know, they don't want to like make their brothers and sisters upset or something, but that's not the case. And it seems like he's been insistent about this. And Jordan, to your point of like, you want to help your kid at the end, she doesn't even know if she's right or wrong. She's just like super fucking upset about it, which is so understandable. Of like, you lived your horror, I don't want to say horror life, but a life that definitely sucked, right? There's a lot of bad about it. You know, it's tough and hard and you got to deal with a lot of stuff. And thank God she had her, you know, support system and it worked out. But she knows. And that's where it's like, please, like, not again, which makes sense.
And also I should actually correct myself because I talked about how like, don't you want to like really hash this out with the parents? And I realized I missed this. She did mention that she talked to the parents. She did. She did. So no.
Very strange, by the way, that the parents have gone no contact after the.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Isn't it weird? Like, I don't know, to be like, well, let's wait on the DNA tests.
There's a couple of facets of this story where they explain something and I go,
I didn't want to do this.
Yeah, like I don't want to be like, oh, it's like that was no, they're in the right, but like I don't know, it's a little
No.
strange.
I'm alluding to something nefarious is happening.
Yeah,
here.
I don't know, maybe.
Because why do you not want to do the DNA test?
That's what I'm saying.
I like the DNA test being like, I want my kid to get a DNA test before we sign off on this. And they're like, why? Don't you trust him? No. He just got a 15-year-old pregnant. Actually, no, not at all.
Yeah,
I would really like
actually
to.
now.
My dumb fucking kid, I would like to make sure has an out.
Yeah, I am actually now in a significant time of distrust for my child, if you want to put it that way.
Are you happy for them? No, not at all. Obviously.
No, like not
Are
even
you happy for them? What
remotely.
the fuck? I don't know. Are we ready to vote on this? I thought this would be harder.
I don't know.
I mean, can I at least go down the road? I want to go down the unpaved road.
Sure, yeah.
How likely do you think it is that they are actually lying about this being Ollie's kid?
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know what they gain from that, but I'm just like, there's a little part of me that is doing some creative reading, and it's just a little bit of me. I don't know. Maybe this will be in an update because we are on Best of Predator updates. So, you know what? I am ready to vote on this. Yes, Joseph. Yeah.
Decision time.
When it comes to this woman, is she the asshole for reacting this way to her kid? Jordan?
No, not at all.
Danny?
No, I don't think so. I can't fault you for feeling this way.
I think I'm writing her a lot of checks because of her position, but I also think it's fine. It's well within her rights to feel this way.
Yeah, 100%. You swayed my initial feelings very quickly, so thank you for that.
But wait.
All right, I got some updates for you, obviously.
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay.
There's like 9 of them.
Oh my God. Wait, so you made us vote before 9 updates.
Okay, yes. So first update is same day. It says, Ollie admitted it was on purpose last night. It was Bree's idea first as a joke that turned into a plan. Bree's parents will only pass messages through my son. I've heard this for myself. I stood outside a door and listened to them tell him, tell your mother, and then information, because I know I will go off on her about that bullshit still. They are talking shit about me to my kid. They are appalled I would think that way of Bree when I've known her for more than half her life. I do not want him to move out there alone. There are some past issues, such as Bree breaking up with him twice in the last 18 months because she found someone she liked more in her new town. When they ended, it came back to Ollie. Bree is a nice girl, but her behavior is a little toxic and has been since she was a child. Her mother and stepfather are nice, but the relationship is unstable. The house is in chaos. 9 children combined, blended family, 3 teens with serious mental health struggles. I want a DNA test. I won't budge on it. Also, his father is a man of few words, which is unhelpful. So far, he's backed everything I set up and only really chosen to say you have the intelligence of a pear. Dads, man. Great stuff.
Dudes, bro.
All right, here we go. Update 2. This is about a month and a half later. Things have gone south even further. My husband and I have been blocked on all social media and our numbers have been blocked, but we can still communicate through Ollie. Ollie gave us Bree's parents' email address, and I asked him to video chat Bree to see if I could ask her to get her parents to talk to them and tell me how they were going to continue. Then I would block all contact to Ollie and communication. He flipped out, but I understood it is not okay that his parents are not speaking to me. Bree joined the call and hung up when she saw I was there. She asked via text why I wanted to talk to her, and Ollie said I wanted to speak to her mother about the DNA test. I told her I do personally think it's his baby, but I just want to make sure everything is done right from the start. Well, Bree blocked him with a reply, and he is totally heartbroken, not eating, sitting in his room all day and night. Not mad at me, surprisingly. Very, very sorry for him and to us, sad about it all and regretful. He asked me if there was a way to undo it for himself. I haven't talked about signing over rights because I think he's just upset right now. A mutual friend in our hometown showed him a few posts she has made in the last 24 hours. Things like, "It's you and me against the world, baby girl," and memes about deadbeat dads. She also announced the pregnancy, which she hadn't done yet, and posted single mother facts and quotes. Ollie's friends knew about the situation, and a few were under the impression he had dumped her and the baby. When he explained what had happened, they rallied for him in the comments, and now she's blocked them, and we can't see what she has posted. This has been a nightmare. Ollie gave us Bree's parents' email address with a plan. Basically, Bree will do the test, will pay $1,500. If it's his baby, we'll book flights and plan to be there for the first month. I'll stay too, maybe even the whole family. Then we can work on a parenting plan and get into mediation for a judge to sign off on it. But at this point, I think we'll just have to settle it before sending an email. Okay, now
Dude.
here's the third update.
No,
3 days later.
come on. You're
Fuck
beating me up,
me.
dude.
Ollie's friend was able to see her Instagram through an old account. They found the pregnancy announcement post, and if you scroll across it, it shows a digital copy of the scan Bree sent us as a 16-weeker. But it's dated 4/04, which is a 21-week scan, making an August due date instead. This does not line up with the due date given to us, but does line up with when her parents told me she was pregnant mid-April. I haven't told Ollie this yet because I want to be sure. I'm concerned about his mental health. But unless she gave us the wrong period dates and the baby measured only 16 weeks, then it is not possible for it to be our son's. They then go into a little bit about the math of when they were together, and ends with, Ollie said the joke Bree made was just to see if it happens, the pregnancy, because it's obviously meant to be and he would be able to move. To me, it sounds like she had the plan for a lot longer, but I might just be biased here. That's all we have so far.
No.
Oh my god.
Dude.
I knew
That's
it,
6 days
dude.
old, by the way.
I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it.
That's
I knew it.
crazy.
I knew it. I knew it. As soon as I thought back to it, we were talking about it. I had been back on the side of the mother, and then it was like, oh yeah, the parents stopped talking to me. I went,
Yeah, I was like, that's a little.
That's interesting.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I think the child will be very lucky if the baby is not his.
Yeah, that's true. Dude, imagine you're parents and you're like, okay, so this is what you're going to tell your parents. So we hate them and we don't like
And they're
them
gay.
and they're gay
Yeah,
and
and they
stupid.
suck.
Yeah.
The Council has spoken.
All right, you ready for the last one?
let's do it. And this is slaying me already, bro.
It's
What
so
the fuck?
good. All right, this last one comes from a user called Brave Beards on Am I Overreacting? You know the rule about Am I Overreacting? The answer is always no. All right.
Correct.
3 days old. Am I overreacting? My husband resents me for marrying a black man in a video game.
Dude.
Dude. What?
To be clear, this is posted by a white woman. I guess I could see if like another man married a man and they were like, you know, jerking off to it. I guess I could see that. But this
Sure.
is... All right, here we go. Ready?
Oh,
Yep.
this is awesome. Yep.
I've been feeling pretty overwhelmed and could really use some outside perspective.
We are here.
We're here.
I'm a 36-year-old woman and I've been married to my husband for several years. Recently, I've been playing a game called My Time at Sandrock, which I absolutely enjoy. Anyone familiar with this game?
No, I'm
No,
not
I've
familiar
never
with this game
heard
at
of
all.
Me neither. My
Let me take a second to look this
understanding
up.
is that it's a wholesome farming sim.
Oh God, I knew it. I was like, I looked at this picture and I was like, this is Stardew Valley coded. But
Yeah,
like
this
3D.
picture writes a lot of letters, if you will.
Yeah. Oh man.
Okay, here we go. I've been playing a game called My Time at Sandrock, which I absolutely enjoy. In the game, I decided to marry a character who's a strong, confident black man. What I didn't expect was how my husband would react.
This is great. This is
He's
awesome.
become noticeably upset and distant since I did this. He's expressed concern that I might want an open relationship or that I'm somehow attracted to the character in a way that could threaten our marriage. I honestly never intended for it to be a big deal. I saw the game as a fun escape and didn't see it affecting real life.
Dude.
White man has been here. How can you tell? However, lately, his behavior has changed dramatically. He's been cold, less affectionate, and even accusatory at times. It feels like this
Bro.
virtual marriage in the game has caused a lot of turmoil between us, and I'm worried about how this will affect our relationship moving forward. Has anyone experienced something similar? How do I talk to him about this without making it worse? I love him and want to work through this, but I'm also hurt and confused by this reaction. Thanks for reading.
Okay, so we're all thinking it. She should reset the game and marry a white man. Right?
Yes,
No.
finally. Yes.
No.
I
got
know.
one
We're
better.
all thinking. In fact, Jordan
I
sent me a
speak
text.
for all of us.
Jordan actually just sent me a text that said, "Why'd she marry a black man? She should be marrying a white man."
That's
yeah,
true.
wow, we're all thinking
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
We need to maintain European purity throughout society, you know? No.
What? Okay, so what the fuck? Like Africa is for Africans, you know,
Yeah.
but Sandrock can't be for the whites? Sorry.
Yeah.
Like
It's true. I bet the husband would have been totally fine with it if she would have married a white woman. Anyway,
I listen, all I got to say is, man, people are just so crazy at being racist. Racists have
Yes.
they've
No,
gotten
it's
so
being
good
racist
at being racist
and
for the
being a
craziest
cuck.
reasons.
Yes.
Oh my god, dude.
It's racist, like being racist and being a cuck. Like that is the
It's
craziest
so
thing.
cool. Imagine seeing your wife playing fucking a farming simulator, and there's a black guy on screen, and you go, "I bet you want to open your relationship up, huh? I bet you don't want to fuck me anymore."
Oh, I bet
my
you've always
God.
wanted big black cock like I've seen in my porns. Like, yeah.
It's total porn brain, right? It's total porn brain. We're just.
See,
I listen. I don't want to be like projecting or anything, but like he's so totally fucking. His brain has been melted. Whose reaction to seeing a video game is this? Like, holy fuck.
Dude, Joseph, you put it so great when it's like he's getting selfish of the farming sim.
It's
Imagine
so funny.
losing to the farming sim, bro.
Oh,
like you
dude.
can't maintain
You know
mental
what would be
frame
funnier? It
from
would
the
be funnier if she
farming
really
sim.
did feel this way. Like she was like, wow, this guy is so much better than my husband. And he actually did lose his wife to like a 3D
God.
farming simulator character. That would be even
Yes.
funnier.
And then like on her dating app, it says my ideal partner, and it shows the picture of this guy that she married
Yeah.
in the farming sim.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh,
So
fuck.
like here, like she played Legend of Zelda, and it's like, oh, so I guess you want to go fuck a elf now, right?
Oh, guess you
Yeah.
like Ganondorf, huh? He's so hot and sexy.
Dude, that's so fucking true. Imagine, okay, I'm imagining this where like my, I'm like sitting playing Baldur's Gate 3. I'm just like, romancing Karlach, like the demon hot devil lady who's super strong. And then like Mariah walks in. She's like, oh, I'll never be like that. You want a woman that looks like her? And I'm like, I guess.
You got
yeah,
me.
Yeah,
Uh,
got me.
I was just
Sorry,
trying to
honey.
roll a
I'm
nat
also
20.
attracted to the hot, like fiery demon lady. Like, yup, marriage
Like,
over.
I can't imagine this shit. Oh my god. I love that he's doing this is classic like fucking loser behavior, by the way, like sulking around the house for a week hoping they
Yeah.
notice you're upset. So they go, "What's wrong?" Because you can't tell them you're upset. Because then they're going to ask you the devastating question that immediately reveals that you're a fucking idiot moron, which is why?
Yep.
Like, if you act upset all week, they might just like by virtue of osmosis end up feeling guilty. And that's what you have to do. Because if you ever have to voice the reason you're upset, you're going to sound like a brain-addled, porn-addicted weirdo. So you have to be
Yes.
like, I just feel like, I don't want to talk about it. You're like, is this because of the
Yeah.
fucking black guy in the farming simulator? I said I don't want to talk about it. Because the
I don't wanna
answer would
talk
be
about it.
yes.
I'm just worried that you. I just can't. It's so funny. It's just so funny.
I do like that she was like, in the game, I decided to marry a character who is a strong, confident black man. Like, it's
Like, yeah. Like,
it's just such an awesome description.
Okay,
So,
let's
like,
real quick. I don't want to talk shit on this strong, confident black man. He's
Yeah.
got the black guy in a video game haircut.
He does a black guy in a video game
yes,
hair. He's got, oh my god.
Exactly.
Oh. He's got the low taper fade with the fucking dreadlocks on the top.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
insane. Why do they keep doing
Black
this?
guy in a video game
I've
haircut.
never
yeah.
seen a black guy with this haircut.
Well, you ain't playing the right video games. Me, I make sure all the video games that my wife plays, she only romances like the overweight YouTuber. Like she can only fuck people who talk about card games all day. I had to cut her off Disco Elysium really quick. I was feeling threatened by Kim.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. The healthy response to this feels like, to lend credence to the like, do you want an open relationship, which is an insane sentence.
Honestly, I wouldn't.
I know. I know. Like, okay. If I'm trying to be nice and he wasn't saying these things, I would say, it is normal to feel jealous, like, of anything, like when your partner gets attention or something, or they, we've talked about it before on the podcast of like different stupid stuff and being like, I understand, like you're getting jealous of like X thing, whatever, like, but like this is like unprompted. Right.
Yeah,
this is
ridiculous.
You like look and it's like, look, I married this guy. And like, you're like, wow, you hate me.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's a farming sim. Please relax. I could be like, it's normal to have these jealous feelings, and like sometimes it's hard to express them, and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm feeling jealous. I know it's stupid for like something like this, but
Yeah.
I'll get over myself, whatever. But like, dude, why jump to like the cold, less affection, accusatory? What is he accusing her of?
Liking black men.
Fucking up black man.
Like, what do you mean?
I can't believe you'd marry a virtual black man. I can't ever be black. Does that mean you hate me?
Well,
Dude, like, God.
I just don't know, man. I just don't know what to say
Okay.
other than
I feel like the closest thing we could say is like, how like sometimes healthy couples will be like, okay, let's talk about like, who would you like marry or something, or have sex with, for like a celebrity. And like your partner's like, oh, like I'd have sex with this celebrity. And you're like, oh, I would do this celebrity or whatever. And then you go on about your day because you're like, that's not the person who I love. Right? Like,
Yeah.
that's it. That's all that needs to happen. Like, I don't know. Like, she loves you, man. I don't know what to say.
God knows why. Holy fuck.
Yeah, no kidding. And I'm going to end with this, and our Wokus
Joseph.
listeners are going to be so pissed at me for saying this, but this is why I tell guys that they should go to the gym, okay? Not because I think they need to maintain strength and frame so their
Maintain frame.
partners find them attractive. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying going to the gym will allow you to feel some energy in your life, some consistency, some routine, and it will allow you to gain a level of respect for yourself and confidence. Not because of the looks, but because you go do it. You go work on yourself. That in and of itself is just a way to gain a level of self-respect. So you don't look at the farming sim video game haircut black man and go, oh, my wife wants to cheat on me. Like,
And
I don't,
open
like, you
relationship.
can't
And
live that way.
he's not white.
God, man. Okay. This is the worst post I've ever read. Can we please leave this
so
one?
good though.
I know, but it's awful.
It's so funny.
All right. Well, are you all ready to vote on this, I guess?
Please, God.
I think
yes.
so. I'm a little on the fence, but
Oh,
I guess we
Truman,
can.
Actually, you know what? Danny might be onto something.
Decision time.
Let's play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Do you think that she should be tarred and feathered for fraternizing with a black person? Danny, you've confessed to me in private that you find it disgusting when women date outside their race.
Fraternizing. Like, you're in the 30s, bro.
Now, I do declare that this woman should be pure of blood.
Dude, stop.
I
it,
may
dude.
just be a down-home country lawyer, but
I hate
I
you
personally
so much.
have a hard time keeping down my big bowl of Texas
wait a
chili.
minute. Let's get this a little interesting. I think it's less
Oh
interesting
my
to be like,
God.
are you an asshole for being like that? No. I'm going to ask you both this question. What
Sir?
is one sentence of advice you can give to her, and not just leave him, girl? Like, she does love him somehow, some way. So what do you propose she do?
Figure out if he can differentiate
Yeah.
fiction from reality.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, start
What
asking
he
him,
said.
like, watch a movie with him, right? Like, watch The Matrix with him. And then when it's
Okay.
done, turn to him and go, so did that really happen? Can you tell me if that really happened or not? You can take your time. It's okay.
All right. And after you do this, you need to do peekaboo to test for object permanence.
Well, if he had no object permanence, it would be fine. You would just turn off the game and be like, don't worry, the black man went away.
Don't worry, it's gone. And he goes, oh, phew. What happened?
Oh my God, he was right here. Oh.
He's gone.
Oh shit. I don't know, dude. What do you want me to do? Like, how do you get a guy to become like?
I know your
normal?
answer. No, Jordan, I'll answer for you. Your sentence is sit down and look him in the eyes and say, hey, we should go to the gym together.
Sure, I guess. No, but then he's gonna go, oh, so you don't think I'm hot? You think I need to
Dude,
lose
the
weight
insecure
like
snowball
the
is
virtual video
crazy.
game haircut black man?
Wait, tell him to get the video game haircut, black man.
Oh, true.
Like,
Yes!
Tell him he could rock like the low taper fade with dreads. He would fuck it up, man.
Perfect.
Yeah, make him
Great.
get dreads.
Thank you for your answers. I put them in this box and I'll keep them here forever.
The Council has spoken.
All right, I think we're just about done. Is everyone? We're good. We can end this.
Yep. We're good. Not an asshole.
Yeah, no,
she's
no, you're
not
not
an asshole. There you
overreacting.
go.
Holy fuck, are you
You're
kidding
not
me?
overreacting.
All right, bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Christ alive.